And good afternoon. It's Thursday, March 10th. How you guys doing? Welcome to Deering Live, as always. It's always awesome to see you all, even though we can't see you. One day, Dave, I think we should do an actual live, Deering Live, with
Good
everybody
idea.
in person. Don't you think?
Yeah, that'd be
Wouldn't it be
awesome.
cool to see
Yeah,
these people, these wonderful people, tune in every time?
exactly. Exactly.
It'd be pretty
Julie,
rad.
Ellen, Sherry.
Gwendolyn, Karen, yeah. It's awesome. And it's really, we're always happy to see you all tuning in every episode. You'll notice we're in the middle of a transition on the Deering Live page. We're trying to make it a lot better and a lot easier for everybody to follow, so past episodes will be a bit easier to find. And today's episode will be up there relatively soon, I think, because we've got a special guest today. And Dave, he's from your neck of the woods. Is that correct?
He is. He's from here down in New Orleans, and fabulous guitar player and banjo player, and really happy to have him on the show. And a great guy too.
You've
So
jammed with him some, right?
we've we've played. Uh, Detroit puts on a festival, the Danny Barker Festival, and we played together at that festival before. Yeah.
Awesome,
So, but we'll
awesome.
talk
Well,
more about this festival as we get into the show.
excellent, excellent. Well, let's do a quick introduction. Detroit Brooks, for those of you that know him, is one of New Orleans' top guitar and banjo players for recording and for touring. He's toured around the world and collaborated with musicians such as Dr. John, Dr. Lonnie Smith, Donald Harrison, and many more. Detroit is deeply concerned with keeping the traditional music of the New Orleans alive, and as such, he has created the Danny Barker Festival, which celebrates the music of Danny Barker and brings groups into the schools of New Orleans to teach about the banjo in New Orleans music and history. I think we should bring him in because he's a delight right off the bat. Let's bring him in, Mr. Detroit Brooks.
How y'all doing today?
Hey, Detroit, how you doing?
All
Good,
right,
good.
good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to
Thanks for
be here.
joining us today.
Yes.
How's everything going?
Oh, it's been great. Everything's been great. Thank you first of all for the invitation, to be here.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's our
But um,
pleasure to have you.
but it's been good. Everything has been good in spite of the pandemic and everything else that's going on in the world and around the world. We're here. We're blessed to be here.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Well, as is tradition, we'd love if you could kick off with a little bit of a tune for us and lighten the mood and get everyone comfortable while they get their coffee and tea and I guess whiskey and whatever it is they're doing. You want to play a little
Okay.
tune for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a song that Danny Barker favorite, uh,
Awesome.
and it won't be like Danny because I'm not there. But there was, but only one Danny Barker,
That's true.
and but I'm gonna do it in the manner and in the respect of him. So it's nevertheless, I'm falling in love with you. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm weak, but maybe I'm strong. But nevertheless, I'm falling in love with you. Maybe I'm weak, or maybe I'm strong. Maybe I win, maybe I lose, but nevertheless, I'm falling in love with you. Somehow I know at a chance, the terrible chance I was making. Knew at a glance the terrible thing I was breaking. Maybe I'll give much more than I get. Maybe I'll live a life of regrets. But nevertheless, I'm falling in love with you. Nevertheless, I'm falling in love with you.
All right. All right, Detroit. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Great to hear you play. Great to hear you sing.
Yeah, I had a few moments with the words, but I guess Daniel forgive me.
It's all right. That's all right. Yeah, that song is fantastic off of that Danny's album, Save the Bones. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you see that Tipitina's? Tipitina's is a famous club here in town. They do this record club, and they released that record this week, the Save the Bones record. Did you see
Mm-hmm.
that?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but I think that we're working up some kind of a little deal that they can sell the records at the festival.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you kind of get started? Why don't you? How'd you get started playing music, and what first brought you playing music when you were young?
Well, I come from the gospel background. My dad had a gospel group, and he traveled around New Orleans and abroad, and we used to follow him whenever we were when we got old enough to follow him in the city. We started going around with him, listening to him sing. And as we got older, we decided that we want to sing. So we started, performing with the group, and he would have problems with getting musicians to play behind him. So I started picking up the bass guitar, playing bass guitar.
All right.
And as I got older, my desire was to play guitar, this lead guitar. So I gave my bass to my younger brother, who plays now here in the city, Mark Brooks, and I picked up a guitar and started studying the guitar. So that's where it all started from. But it's always been a part of my family's life was music. My dad played piano and sung.
Yeah, you come from a musical family,
Music
and that's so common here in New Orleans. There's all these musical families. You're one of them, the Brooks family, and the Marcelluses and the Nevilles and Batiste and on and on. Why do you think that's so prevalent here in New Orleans, and it's not common everywhere else?
I really don't know. I don't know an answer for that, because it is, and it's not something that you see everywhere else. But I guess it's because everything is here so close, and it just the neighborhoods and the kids just come up in the neighborhood seeing their brothers play, or seeing the mom singing or whatever, and then they decide that's what they want to be. That's what they want to do.
Uh-huh. And as you got when you were first playing guitar, who were some of your main influences when you were first starting out?
Locally, it was Roy Montrez. He was a guitarist for Fats Domino.
Uh-huh.
And when I did started playing, I used to, in the gospel rhythm, we had guitar players that I studied with, that really wasn't great guitar players, but they played, But then when I started really getting serious or interested in playing the guitar, I started with Roy Montrell. Then I had Hank Mackey,
Mm-hmm.
And a few other guitar teachers that I had, where I would go to the music stores, and study with them there.
And were you mainly listening to local music, or were you also listening to national music?
Well, when I started playing with Down, that's when I really started listening to national music. George Benson, Wes Montgomery, Joe Pass was one of my favorites. Barney Castle, and the list goes on.
And when did you first start playing the 6-string banjo?
Wow, it's been now over 10 years, or longer, because I started traveling with Dr. Michael White and Greg Stafford, and I was playing the guitar, You know, I had an acoustic guitar that I would play. And so we traveled. We went to Montego Bay, and there was a guy. When we got off the ship, we went on the cruise. When we got off the ship, there was this guy playing the banjo. And Michael said, "Now we had to come way overseas to hear a guy play banjo. When are you gonna play banjo? When are you gonna get your banjo?" So I said, "When I get back home, I'm gonna invest in one." So when we got back home, I talked to a friend of mine had one, Harry Sterling. He studied with Danny Barker. So he said, "Well, man, you can use mine for right now. It's a 6-string, so it's easier. You know, it's a quick transition. You know, from guitar to banjo. So that's what happened. That's when I started. It's been like maybe 15 years or so, because I've been playing with Michael and him almost about 15 years.
I think I remember. Was it before Katrina?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Because I had a garage sale, and my first banjo was just a yard sale. Was out on the out in my front lawn, and I think your sister came by to buy that banjo. She said, "My brother, Detroit Brooks, plays banjo." It was all so it wasn't a functioning instrument.
Yeah.
And it was a 5-string banjo too.
Right. And you know, I've always wanted to be. I met a young man, and not a young man, but I met a gentleman in Washington D.C. when Dr. White. I went there with him when he was and he received the NEA award, and it was a banjo, clawhammer banjo player from Nashville, and he's incredible. And he played a 5-string banjo. And I asked him, was it possible that we could do some over the phone studies, and you know, but in transition lost his number, never had an opportunity to do it. But man, I love the 5-string banjo, the clawhammer. I love that.
Well, we could work something out. I'll teach you clawhammer, and you give me some guitar lessons. How about it?
It sounds like a deal to me.
So what, when you're playing the banjo, how do you approach it any different than when you're playing the guitar, or do you just go? Is it this because the timbre is very different? You know, the attack of the instrument is different.
Yeah, that's what it is, and it's the colors that you can add to whatever the ensemble is. I can add more colors, I think, with the 6-string. You know, in and out of chords. Not that I can get on one chord, a dominant chord, and play, because it's detected within the music. You know, the front line gonna hear it. But if I can get in and out passing tones, then this to me has a better feel. You know?
And do you play many single note lines on the banjo, or are you mainly playing chords?
I say single note lines. That's my favorite. You know, is a single note, especially doing solos.
Yeah. You feel it gets enough punch through a full band when you're playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Once again, it's all in the attack. You know, so how you approach the solo.
And you're usually using a flat pick when you're playing in a group situation, right?
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
A fairly heavy pick, or is it a light pick?
I use heavy.
Okay.
Heavy. I don't know about anything about the gauges, you know. But they're just a Fender heavy.
Yeah. Well, going back into some New Orleans music a little bit, what do you think is unique about New Orleans music? Like, what's kind of, if you're going to be generalized, you know, there's lots of different styles within the city, but what kind of makes it kind of stand out amongst, other places?
It's the rhythms. It's the rhythm. Basically, all it is the rhythm of what we do. I mean, everybody can play a note, play a chord or a melody, but it's the particular rhythms that makes it happen. Just like in Cuba, they got a rhythm there that if you don't know it, don't try to play it. You know,
right?
And it's the same thing here. You know, it's just the rhythms. It's the rhythms of what we bring to,
right.
Especially drummers, percussionists. So it makes a big difference in the music.
Yeah, New Orleans is often thought of as the northernmost Caribbean city.
Yes.
So, it has that direct link to, you know, back to Africa and African rhythms.
Exactly right. Right.
Let's see. So, would you want to play another tune for us now?
I guess we can. When you ready?
Sure.
When you're smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, keep on laughing, and the sun will come shining through. But when you're crying, it brings on the rain. So stop your crying and be happy again. When you're smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world will smile with you. When you're smiling, keep on smiling, the whole world will smile with you. When you're laughing, keep on laughing, and the sun will come shining through. But when you're crying, it brings on the rain. So stop your crying and be happy again. Keep on smiling, keep on smiling, and the whole world will smile with you. When you're smiling, the whole world will smile. The whole world will smile. The whole world will smile with you.
That's fantastic.
Right.
You can definitely hear your gospel roots in your singing. It's so deep. It's so good.
Yeah, it's been a while. We're still trying to get through the pandemic, man. Even playing and singing, I'm sitting here, losing position from not playing and singing a lot. It's been a little tough, and you never think that it will affect you, man. Even when I go on stage, I find myself trying to figure out, because I haven't played in a while.
Yeah. I mean, I went through the same thing with my calluses on my fingers kind of disappearing. That hadn't happened since I was a teenager.
Right.
It was just weird. It started hurting to play a stringed instrument again.
Learning song chords and stuff. It's just something. It's an experience. I tell you that, man. It's very much of a learning experience.
Right. And then going back on a gig, you hit the bridge of a tune, and it's the changes just aren't there.
Yeah, that's right, man. I'm telling you, and I'm feeling the effect of that right now.
Yeah. Well, when you're playing, you're kind of playing your chord shapes are kind of in the style that Danny would play, a big shape versus like a a Freddie Green like two or
Yeah.
three note sort of thing. Can you talk a little bit about that? About those those voicings you use?
Well, mine are basically common voices, but Danny was like a big voice. He used the whole 6 strings.
Right.
I don't use basically just a.
Right.
And I do it because, like I said, in and out, the movement of the chords, I'll sit this whole. I do.
Right, you're playing just on the top 4 strings a lot of the time.
Strings, yeah. But Danny uses he uses all. There's a young man that plays, of several, and he plays, he's
the Danny style.
Yeah, he's the Danny of the day. Great player,
He's a good player. We had him on During Live about a year ago or so.
Yeah.
You've toured the world with a lot of fantastic musicians. You've toured with Dr. John, Dr. Lonnie Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Who else have you toured with?
Michael White, Dr. White.
Lots of doctors.
Yeah, Don Harrison. Charmaine Neville. And this goes on. I don't know if I said, Dr. Lonnie Smith. So
yeah,
I've been around for a minute. And I played with a lot of great musicians, and I'm still learning. So it's a lot to learn. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I say I've had my fun, and I've had my share of traveling. And so if the pandemic has it so that we won't travel anymore, it'd be okay, because there's a lot of stuff I can do here, in the city.
Right. Do you have any memorable stories from the road that stand out?
That stories like, you mean within the groups or the things that I've seen? There's so
Either
many
playing or just on the road, just something funny that something's unique, memorable that happened, with any of these people that while you're traveling the world.
I got some in the story. I wouldn't really know what to start at. That's one thing that I miss about traveling on the road, especially with Dr. White and Charmaine and the groups that I've traveled with, Down Harrison, and because we're not just musicians that's going out to play. We like family.
Right.
We enjoy each other. We enjoy each other's time. On stage and off stage, we enjoy each other. And so it's just so many things that we've done and stuff, man. I'd be here all day long, trying to think of one to tell. We I really can't. It's hard to think of something. Well, we had one time we was playing at the Apollo,
mm-hmm.
and Don was doing the Indians. He always bring the Indians with him, and there's one guy wants to sing, so he asked Don. So we sang doing a Little Bitty Boy with that one. Hey, Parkway.
Hey, Parkway.
So he asked Don. He said, "Look, I can sing all the Indian songs." So Don said, "Well, what song?" He said that song. I think it's Hey Parkway. Hey Parkway. So Don said, "No, it's Hey Parkway." He said. So Don said, "Well, do you know the words?" And he said, "Yeah, I know the words." So he said, Don said, "What's the words?" And he said, Don said, "Little Bitty Boy." He said, "Yeah, that's the first one. Yeah, Little Bitty Boy." And he said, Don said, "Well, go on, ready to finish with it." So what's the rest of it? He said, Don said, "Well, harder still." He said, "Yeah, with harder still." And he didn't know the words to it. So, but every time Don would say the words, and he was, but he actually came out on stage and made up words to go with it. Didn't fit, but he made up words. And everybody, the band, the audience, everybody was laughing at him, So there's just so much stuff, man, that has happened, man. Till I'm telling you, I could write a book about it.
Yeah, well, you should. You should definitely.
Because it's really enjoyable. But just to pick something off the top of my head right now would be hard for me.
Yeah.
Because
I
I'm not
understand.
really good at interviews.
Yeah. You brought up something that I think we should talk about a little bit. You brought up the Mardi Gras Indians, and I think most people watching aren't familiar with who they are. We just celebrated Carnival down here in New Orleans. I went and saw some Indians. I sent Jamie and Jonathan some photos of some Indians. But could you explain what the Mardi Gras Indians are?
They're really just the New Orleans Indians that celebrates every year. They've been doing this for 100 years, and this is a group of they're not native Indians. It's just a group of Mardi Gras Indians that have been parading for years, and it's a certain time of the year that they come out. Certain times of the year, because they come out again on Mardi Gras Day, and they come out again on St. Joseph Day.
Mm-hmm. And Donald Harrison we're talking about. His father was a famous Mardi Gras Indian chief.
Yeah, he is also. He's the chief of the Congo Nation.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the festival. Let's talk about the Danny Barker Festival that you started. You started this. How long ago was it? About 5 or 6 years ago?
Ooh, no, we started in 2014.
Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us first? Tell our listeners, explain who Danny Barker was a little bit, and why you started this festival to honor him.
Well, Danny Barker is a New Orleans-born musician that left. He went to New York, and when he got there, he played with everybody. I mean, from Cab Calloway to Betty Carter, Charlie Parker. He was a well-rounded musician. And after a while, he decided he wanted to come back home to New Orleans. And when he came back home to New Orleans, he decided he wanted to spend time working with kids and teaching kids about life, not just about an instrument. Because he was a banjo player, and most of the people that was mentored or tutored by Danny played different instruments. Dr. Michael White, clarinet; Greg Stafford, trumpet; Wendell Bruner's trumpet; Hurley Rollins, drums. And he also had some that were tutored by him, wound up being pharmacists. He told them, he said, get yourself a day job, get yourself a job that you can make some money. So they wound up being pharmacists. One lady was an attorney. She was a dancer. She become an attorney. So Danny was this more a mentor and an inspiration to the kids. And he created these bands of different young people. And he was the resurgent of the brass band, because everything was dying out. And when Danny started up the bands again, that started the music again. So then he got with the Fairview Baptist Church, and the minister asked him, minister, what can I do? He said, start me a gospel band. So that's where the Fairview brass band came into effect. And Leroy Jones, Greg Stafford, and the whole Lucian Barberan, all of those were members of the band. And Danny was just good for the city, not only for the community, but for the city and a whole, with the kids and stuff. So we realized that it's dying again. It's look like we're losing the ground with the traditional music. So we started the Danny Barker Festival from a guitar extravaganza, and it escalated to where we decided we want to do something different. We want to teach the kids about the music, the culture, and the heritage. So that's how the festival started.
And tell us about this year's festival and who's playing in it. What are some of the events that are going on?
Well, we have a patron party on the 16th, which is held up at the Terror House on Magazine Street, which is a very beautiful place. And this lady has gotten involved over the last 2-3 years and gave us the space. Plus, she caters the food for us, and we go up and introduce the Danny Barker Festival. And on the 17th, we're going to show a screening. There's a screening that was done by Jason Barry. I don't know if you know of him, but he's produced this wonderful film, man, called The City of a Million Dreams, which is all about New Orleans. So that'll be played on the 17th. And then we go to Snell Harbor on the 18th with the Danny Barker Tribute Band with Topsy Chapman as a vocalist, Dr. Michael White, Greg Stafford, Freddie Alonso, Herman LeBeau, Mitchell Player, and myself. And several is supposed to come and play also. So then we go on to the 18th. That morning of the 18th, we'll have a parade at the Jazz Museum and functions at the whole day, entire day from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock that evening. There'll be music at the Jazz Museum, New Orleans Jazz Museum. And then on the 19th, we're moving our venue to the National Park Service, which is 419 Decatur Street, where we will also have music all day. There'll be some fabulous musicians there. Then we go back to the Jazz Museum on that Sunday with music again.
And we have viewers from all around the world today. Is there any place online people can go to be a part of this festival?
Yes, you can go to Danny Barker Banjo Festival.com, and you can pull up it's a website, and it pulls up everything. Pull up all activities.
Will any of the concerts be live streamed online? Do you know?
Yes, we're planning a live stream. Okay.
All right. Terrific. I know the Mint always has a live stream too. The Jazz Museum Mint. But they can just go to DannyBarkerFestival.com and see that, right?
Right.
Terrific. And you also go into the schools with the festival each year. I've been part of that a couple times.
Yeah. Well, I miss it this year, man.
Want to talk about what you do on that part?
Well, we go into the schools, and as I said, we're trying to educate the kids, because there's a lot of kids that they're playing music, they're learning the instruments, but they don't know the history. Just like a lot of them don't know the banjo is an African origin instrument, and we try to teach them, because they laugh at it, because they think that it's just a picking and a grinning and a barbie instrument, but it's not. It has more of a history to it. So we try to show the kids there's a value of whatever instrument you're playing and the history. Learn the history of it. Learn, why you're playing it. Don't just play it. Danny was like, there was a young lady that was dancing. He was working at Xavier University, and she would always be out in the hall dancing. He asked her, well, what are you dancing so often? What you gonna do with it? So she said, I just like to dance. He said, but do something with it. Make something of it, create something with what you're doing. So she wound up opening a dance school. She's an attorney. She went to law school, but after she finished law school, she decided to become an attorney. So she's an attorney with a dance school because of Danny Barker. So the same situation with the kids, at the school. We trying to make them realize that just don't play it, and walk up and down the street playing it. Learn the history of it. See how important it is to you and what it can do for you in your lifetime. This and that guitar has taken me all over the world. I mean, the trumpet has taken Greg Stafford all over the world. He goes to Canada 2 or 3 times a year.
Right.
And so that's what we want them to realize with the instrument. It's not just something that you play in the school and then when you get out, you finish. So that's the reason we go into the schools. It's the education component.
Yeah, it's fantastic how you have both. Have that part of the festival. You have the concerts. You also have that. I've run into somebody from, I think, a ex-student from like UNO that was inspired by one of those talks that we did at UNO one year. I forget who, but it's making a difference, definitely.
Yeah, and that's what we hope. Like I said, we're picking up the torch, And we're picking up the torch with Danny involved.
Yeah, if you don't, nobody else will. So
exactly right, and eventually it'd be long gone. And it won't be anymore. So that's what we're trying to savor, you know, what there is left of it, and
Right.
you know, revive it, man.
Well, you're featured on the cover of the Offbeat magazine this month. For those that don't know, that's the local um, entertainment magazine, but it goes all around the world. There's subscribers all around the world, so it's a pretty big deal. It's a great photo of you and your banjo there.
Yeah, thank you. I was surprised, you know. I knew about the interview, but I didn't know it was going to be on the front cover. So, you know, I was really surprised. I'm grateful, you know, humbled, but you know, really surprised.
Well, yeah, it's great, and it's a good interview too. So you can, our viewers, you can go find that online. You can go to Offbeat. I think it's offbeat.com, and see the interview, read the interview. Somebody, I see a question in here in the chat from Sherry McCohen. She's saying, does Detroit use any techniques on banjo that he doesn't on regular guitar?
Not really. Well, I guess I can, because on guitar I'm playing different genres of music. You know, so on this is basically a rhythm triad kind of a, you know, situation. On guitar, then, you know, I can do anything, you know, as long as it's within the context of the music that I'm playing.
So the harmony you're using on banjo is more simple than
right. Yeah, it's more simplistic. Yeah.
Okay. We have a question from Gwendolyn Karen in the chat. She's wondering if you ever attended the Jazz Festival by Eastman School in Rochester, New York.
No, I have never.
Okay.
But
right.
If she wants to invite us, I'll go.
Yeah, well, we'll put your email in the chat. Let's see. You've also been focused. I know you've been focused on songwriting. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? With like, what styles would you call your songs in?
Well, I do more ballads and R&B gospel. I've written. I'm doing a few traditional kind of things. And but it's basically right now I would say more gospel and ballads.
Okay. Have you tried using banjo on any of these tunes?
Actually, I got one song that I've recorded already. It hasn't been put out, but I recorded it, and I'm gonna go back and put banjo on.
Awesome, that'd be great. Look forward to hearing it. Do you usually start when you're writing a tune, a song? Do you usually starting with the lyric, or do you come up with the harmony first, harmony or melody first? That
was actually in the interview that I've done. It's strange because if I'm driving and I started thinking of a melody, and it's almost like they all come simultaneously. And the lyrics will come, then the music come. So then I pull my phone up and I sing it, the lyrics, and I hum the melody in the phone. So they basically come at the same time. You know, and then I put that down, and then I started working on it. You know, but it just comes. It's not like it's no whole lot of effort, you know, to put in it.
Right. You don't sit down and say, I'm going to write a song today. It just kind of hits you, and you grab your phone.
Exactly. And it's the subject, you know. It's the subject. It's the topic. Somebody might say something. I wrote a song. We was in Mexico for a month, and this lady that was like our road manager, she had this thing about, oh no, you know, she was like, oh no, we ain't gonna do this today. Oh no, we ain't gonna do this. Oh no, he didn't call it. Oh no, whatever. And I wrote this song, say, oh no, not this time. You know, what she said. And it's complete. It just came just like she said it. I just took oh no, and then I just started writing from that.
That's fantastic. That shows how you can get inspiration from, you know, anything, really.
Yeah, I think most songs, I ain't gonna say most good songs, most songs come from that, come from something that you see, even if it's just a butterfly flying, you know, a bird flying, a bird chirping, whatever, you know, that's what your ideas and, you know, the inspiration come from for songs.
Yeah, and it's great that, you know, you almost always have a recording device with you all the time with the phone, so you can just jabber into it. That's
Yeah.
the idea. So who are some musicians that inspire you today? What are you listening to as of late?
Instrumentals, vocal, both.
Both. What just
There's all kind. I mean, like I say, some of my favorites is. I mean, I got some local guys. There was one young man that he's deceased now, Ty Duke. I don't know if you knew Ty Duke.
Yeah, definitely.
Ty was one of my local favorites. Steve Mazakowski, you got Brian Seeger, all of these guys. You play yourself. A great player, and there's a lot of guys that I'll go. Walter Wolfman Washington. I'll go sit down and listen to him at any time because he's not only just a great guitarist, he's a great spirit, and that's what I take. If I can go listen to the guy playing and he can be technically correct, and he can be playing all over the box, but if there's no substance in his playing, then I listen to maybe 1 or 2 of his songs and then I'm gone. But if you're playing and there's feeling and you're saying something to me as an audience, then I can sit there all night long. I don't drink, but I can drink orange juice all night long, to listen to you. So I have a lot of local talent and influences,
Right. Yeah, we're lucky to be in the city with
Yeah, because everybody brings something different, and that's a great thing about it is everybody that offers something has their own to bring, and that's what I like about it.
So are you working on anything else? Do you have a new recording coming up that you're working on, or what are you working on besides the festival? And what are some musical goals that you would like to, achieve in the future?
Well, I wrote a gospel song for the pandemic. It's not really for the pandemic. It's for faith. It's for faith and people, asking question. Why? Why are we going through all of this? And I wrote a song, and I had Irma Thomas, Philip Manuel, John Boutte, Paul Sanchez, Charmaine Neville, Cheryl Martin, Les Gidricks, all of the iconic voices of New Orleans to sing a part of this song, like "We Are the World" kind of a song. So we recorded that. And hopefully right after the festival, we can finish it and put it out. We're putting it out as a fundraiser.
Okay.
It's a fundraiser for the Musicians Clinic and all of the organizations that has helped musicians. They can sell it as a fundraiser and to raise money. I'm not looking for nothing out of it. Yeah.
That's fantastic, Detroit.
That's one of the things. And then I'm going in because I don't have a CD out. So everybody keeps saying, "Man, why don't you put your writing? Why don't you?" So I'm gonna go in and put out a CD on the songs that I write, and also on some of the more traditional songs that in the city and stuff.
That's great. I look forward to hearing that. And definitely I'd love for you to have a CD out. I'd love to a recording out. I'd love to hear it.
Thank you. Maybe I might call you to come do something with me.
You got my number. Well, I know Jamie has been monitoring the chat, and there's some other questions that he'd like to. So I'd like to bring Jamie back in over here.
Mute. Hey, what's going on? That was really interesting to listen to. Thank you, Detroit. And I'm enjoying the matchmaking between you two right now. It's rather adorable to see. And I would pay good money to hear Dave and Detroit jam. That would be rad.
See what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about.
I know how good Dave is as well. So I think it would be cool. Yeah, it'd be really cool.
He's great.
Not to blow your horn too much there, Dave. Back to business. Back to work. So Charlie Brown, which is an awesome name, is asking, how do you tune your strings? Are you standard guitar tuning?
Standard guitar tuning.
Do you ever mess with anything different, or are you standard straight through all the way?
It's I hate to say it, but it's lazy. I guess it's easier for me, to just pick it up and go, because I have a 4-string banjo here. and I want to learn how to play it, not to play out because I don't like the ting 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 the tinginess of the banjo. No disrespect for banjo players, but I don't like that. I like the warmth of what this one here gives me. So and it's tuned just like a guitar, and it's easier for me. I put this on the stand, and then I just reach over and play the same chord, but different voicing, different kind of shapes and stuff, so that they don't clash because in traditional, it's about the front line. It's about the trombone, trumpet, and the clarinet. And if you're trying to play too much, you'll get in their way.
Yeah.
And they don't. The guy I play with, you can tell when you're in his way because he's like this here. So if he's looking back at you, you understand that you're playing too much. Your movements, even with a bass player, if he tell you to walk the full, doom 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 that's too much, So, and I understand it because it's an ensemble, and it's when you're working in a group, each person has a part, and that part, if you play that part, this is like I guess it's like a puzzle, That puzzle has these parts, and once you finish it, I don't care what the shape of it is. Once it fit in that spot, that puzzle is finished, and that's what the same thing with music. We all supposed to support one another. If you got me playing too much, too many changes and stuff, then I'm cluttering up everything, and it don't work free. You don't give the freedom.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's perfect sense. We've actually been having a pretty lengthy conversation in the chat, a few of us here, just in general. And so I've got a couple of questions to pose. I think the first one, they kind of link into one another, but the first one is really for both of you because you're both New Orleans players as well. Is six string popular in New Orleans, or is it mainly the four strings that you're seeing from a banjo standpoint?
Well, you don't have very many six strings, but the person that brought the six string to New Orleans was Danny, and he was very popular because he played with everybody, But you won't see many of them because a lot of the guys will say you're cheating, I'm gigging, I'm working, I'm getting. I play with most of the people in the city. So I mean, if they feel it's okay for them and they're satisfied with it, and I'm satisfied, then I could care less about what you feel about me playing six string, but it's not a very popular instrument, Yeah,
because the four string is the main go-to. Dave, I know you're a four string guy.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That kind of led into the other debate. Like Sherry, poor Sherry. She's a five-string player, but she's also saying she's been roasted in music forums and stuff for owning and playing a six-string because there's that kind of age-old debate of the six-string banjo is cheating somehow because it's supposedly easier to play, and I was explaining it's not necessarily easier, right? It's more difficult to replicate maybe a five-string sound, but it's not. I don't think it's cheating, but I'm keen to hear what you think as a six-string player.
Talking to me? Okay, yeah, I feel like this, like I said earlier. As a six-string player, they can say I'm cheating, but I work, and I work because I give to the my employee what he wants to hear, and even when I travel overseas, when you go to Europe, Dave will tell you, when you go to Europe, you don't see too many of these. You know what I'm saying? Most of those, and I mean they really playing down, but they admire what I do on this one. And I think it's even the guitar player, it's not the instrument, it's the musician. It's the person that's playing it. And what you bring to the stage and because I'm more of a rhythm. This gives me more, more rhythm. And so I don't see it as cheating that because I guess that's the same thing we would say about seven-string bass. You got four-string bass player. Now you got seven-string bass. Bass players, you even got stand-up basses now adding another string to it, So I mean, it's just what you see, what you hear, and what you get, what you feel.
I mean, I'm a bass player, and there's only supposed to be four strings, but I respect anyone with 5, 6, or 7 or 8. It's fine.
That's what
you want to do,
right?
No. So Sherry, pay attention. Detroit Brooks has your back and says,
I got your back.
All right. You tell those message forums. It's not cheating. Detroit says so.
That's right. And you know, people that might not notice it, but you read up on it. Django Reinhardt plays 6-string banjo.
Yes, he did.
Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yes. Yep. So I mean, they were some of the best in the world. So if he cheat, and Danny Barker cheat, Jonathan Steele cheat, I'm okay. I'm gonna cheat too.
I love it. Very good. Well, I think that's all the questions I got. I think from the other chat room. But Dave, anything else you wanted to add there?
No, this has been fun. Hope to see you in person soon, Detroit.
Yes,
but yeah, it's great to chat with you and great to hear you play.
Yeah, sounds great.
Thank
and
you.
It is a Boston, isn't it? It's the Deering Boston you're playing.
Boston, yes.
Yeah.
And this was actually, believe it or not, I own Danny Barker's banjo, but it was destroyed, not damaged. It was destroyed during the storm, Katrina. And it's in the shop now. The guy that has it, the violin maker, I don't know if you know him, David, Sarah Gardina. Sarah has it. And he said he can put it back together. So I'm raising the money, trying to get an organization to help me put it back together. But I went to, we played at a church, I think it was in St. Louis. And I didn't have a banjo. So the guy told me, let's tell him to come on anyway. We had rent one for him to play. So when I got there, they had rented this banjo for me. So we played at the church and it was talking about the situation in New Orleans, which everybody knew. And this guy was sitting down there and he was saying that we had to rent this banjo for him to come be able to play. So the guy stood up, he said, how much is it? What you think the banjo is worth? So he said I think it was $1,600 or something like that. And he said, put it in the case, and when he leave, let him take it home with him. And the guy said, what? He said, yes. He said, I'm going to write you a check for that. He wrote a check out for the amount of the banjo, and I've been having it ever since.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Cool story.
It made the papers and stuff. I got the clipping of it, but you know, it was amazing. This guy he just wrote a check and bought it. You know.
Wow.
That's a cool instrument to have. Did I see? I can't quite see now. It's slightly out of frame. Do you have like a foam mute on the under the tailpiece area, or am I seeing things?
Here.
Yeah. Is there something under there?
No, this right here.
Yes.
That's a strap.
Oh, that's what that is? I thought I saw something else on there. Okay.
I got this makeshift strap on here, man. Like,
okay.
Danny Barker used to have a string.
Mm-hmm.
He had a string tied from up. He had a string tied around here and go all the way across. Wow. You know, I tell people, man, he had some habits, man. He used to walk around with his banjo in the garbage bag, holding the garbage bag like this here. You know,
see,
but he was amazing. He's amazing.
You don't need these hard cases. You don't need crazy technology cases. You got a garbage bag. That's, what else do you need? Oh, right here. Actually, no, don't say that. We've got some good cases at Deering. All right. So real quick, just to wrap up, for anyone who maybe doesn't necessarily know Danny Barker, where's a good album or song to start with? And I'm going to throw that to both of you because I think you're both way more knowledgeable on him than myself. But
all of them. He has two Save the Bone for Danny. The Save the Bone for Henry Jones, and I think that song is on there. Nevertheless, that's on there. But that would be a good one for him to listen to. But tell them they can also go in YouTube. That's what I would suggest, that you go to YouTube and listen to some of the clips on him. You know. And what it does, I guess it makes you want to get more involved once you hear him, and basically get a chance to meet him. You know what I'm saying? Because you can see his character, because he was on. And I tell people, it's not just Danny played; he lived the banjo. He sung the songs. He created words from songs that was already written. You know, like St. Louis Blues. You know, St. James Informant, where she laying down, her boyfriend went to go see her, and she woke up and said, "Don't you get away from me? Don't you see I'm trying to lay down and die and get out of my face?" And then she dead. This is the dead one. So he you know what I'm saying, Dave? He made up this story to go along with his playing, so it had a lot more. It was more it was more interesting with the stuff that he done, along with his playing. So if you look at him on Facebook, on YouTube, he'll tell you which songs to buy. He'll tell you what to buy, and I think that would be the best way for anybody that wants to purchase something of yours or mine. Listen at it, on YouTube, listen at YouTube, and then you get an idea of what he's doing. And then you believe me, when you finish listening to one of his songs, you're going to buy all his CDs.
Yeah. Well,
Sure.
Dave, maybe after this we can get in the Detroit Brooks episode page. We can put some Danny Barker videos up there as well, and some more of Detroit. And maybe we can get a playlist going for some folks who want to know more. So
Perfect. We can do that, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
excellent stuff. Cool. Do you mind playing us out with a little tune before we go?
Well, let me see what I can do.
You got
Since
any
it's
more?
such
I
a,
know it's a big ask, but we
Huh?
believe in you, and we love it, and everyone here is loving the tunes. So.
let me see. Let me bring you out with.
Thank you so much today, Detroit. We really appreciate you coming in today, and thanks everyone for
Thank
tuning
you.
in. And we'll see you again soon, and I think we can hear what's coming.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. Then I say to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed days and dark sacred night. Then I say to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, and the look on the faces of the people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? What they really say is, I love you. I hear babies cry, and I watch them grow. What they really say, you and I will never know. Then I say to myself, what a wonderful world. And I say to myself, what a wonderful world.